to yet another episode of Konnekt Live. Na leo niko peke yangu wase, so it's about time. Nataka piga story hapa na pale. We answer your questions because today it's a Q&A session. I'll be your host, Eric Okabi, Eric with a CK, kama kawa, kama dawa. And you know how we do. Unajua vile tunaanzanga the live show. We always start by seeing who is inside. Nani wako ndani? Nani wako ndani pale kwa chat? Anzeni kutuma salamu. Yes. So basically, today is a question and answer session. And the good thing about Q&A sessions is that you can send your questions and I'm going to answer them and we will get as interactive as possible. Watu waanze kusema wanawachia wakiwa wapi. I don't see anyone on the chat section bado, but tuanze na story. What are the highlights of the week? Now we start with one highlight that was our episode last Sunday, the one with the Changan Hunter that we drove to Mount Kenya. Zile at least mliweza kuona how it performed. It's a good pickup for starters because the price, the pricing of that vehicle for 0 mileage is actually very good. So what did you think about that episode that we shot last time? Now the other thing I would like to talk about is now the other episode tulikuwa tuna list cars that you can get for below 500,000, and in this case not dudus and not this na sio vibakuli gari, at least iko na maana, na tukapeana hapo Toyota Mark II. There was the Peugeot 406, there is the Mitsubishi Galant, there was the Nissan Tiana J31, and which other car was there? The Mercedes-Benz W202. So that is also a recap. Now we have got so many inquiries about these cars, but sourcing a locally used vehicle is normally an uphill task. But kwa hiyo kazi tunapeanga jamaa anaitwa Erico Identity. Erico Identity yuko wapi? Leo simuoni hapa. So leo acha nitume salamu kadhaa. Let me read salams before we start getting up close and candid with today's show. Now, Lewis Githinji, hello. Karibu sana Lewis. Nderito Washuka, vipi Eric, tuned in from Nanyuki. Nanyuki, asante sana. Nanyuki is a very interesting place. Enda pale Sida Mall, useme ni Eric with a CKM kutuma. Uitishe maji, alafu nitubie till. Devi Motua watching from Mount Kenya. DP, Mount Kenya wapi? Mount Kenya ni kubwa. Mlima ni kubwa. Martin Kihara, watu wa Somalia locked in at Kismayo base camp. Asante sana Martin. Adam Mushira ako hapa Sti Achieng Frederick anasema tuko ndani kama baba kwa AUC. Ivan Sosonga ako Ruaraka. Let my people go East Africa. E-Power NV200 iko aje. Then we have Lewis ameanza maswali. Identity yako in the house. Na wase kama kuna Moses Milao Sapunyo sema tuned in from Addis Ababa. Eric Identity Rides amesema alikuwa na dance matopare. Mnajua which dance style is that? Ile wasemanga chali yangu ni dancer. Ndaonyesha siku moja Gen Z wa Auto Connect ata dance hiyo matopare one of these fine days. Na ile nyingine inaitangwa wanafanyanga hivi. Sawa, James Maina from Muranga, Masi Wamboi, hello Mr. Eric. Bana. Hello Masi, there is Debi Motu anasema good episode on the Changan, but we wanted to see how it tackled Magnetic Hill. Umesikia Gen Z wa Auto Connect? Okay. Sasa kuna Mbirithi wa Idhanga watching from Kinango to Kondani. Now the only funny thing about Kinango is that Kinango kunakuwa na matatu moja. Hiyo ikikuacha we huendi town. But anyway, thank you. At least kuna mneti yuko. So just Dave from Gong. Jimmy, hey guys, I love the Trooper video series. You did a great. Asante sana. How can you import a car from? So wacha tuingie kwa maswali, and I want to start from the top The first question is Lewis Kedinji. Is it advisable to get a Toyota Isis Platana 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive? Can it work as an off-road family car? What are the disadvantages? Now, the Isis is one of those vehicles that is not really watu hawajaikubali sana. I have to agree it looks odd, but it's a nice car because the underpinnings and the engine are mostly shared with the Toyota Wish. If you get it in 4-wheel drive, wase usema zinakunywa, lakini that is neither. Yes, theoretically it's true because it has a propeller shaft. It's slightly heavier. You know, with more weight, there is more fuel consumption. The other thing is there is more traction on it, so there is more resistance to moving. So yes, theoretically there can be an increase in fuel consumption, but also sometimes modern 4-wheel drives are quite intelligent. So the difference in fuel consumption is actually negligible. Now, the other thing that you must take into account is the kind of ICs you're driving, because also that will determine the fuel consumption. Why is this? Kuna ISIS mara mbili. Kuna ISIS ilikuja na ile kitu inaitwa drive by cable. Ile ukifungua engine yake, you can accelerate using kale ka there is a handle there yenye inakuanga imefungwa na wire that is connected to the accelerator cable. Now those are the first generations of the Toyota Isis. Now the second generation of the Isis came with what is called drive by wire, meaning it has a throttle position sensor. Now there is also another vehicle here that comes into play, the Toyota Isis that has a Valvematic engine. Now, the later models have very good fuel economies. The first models that came with a drive-by-wire, they were a bit thirsty, but now the good thing about them is that they were more reliable. They were simple. They did not have the problems that the VVTi ones have. So yes, that is one thing. Those are things you should really take into consideration before you buy a Toyota Isis. Unanunua generation gani? Sawa sawa. Now, can it function as an off-road family car? Yes, it will take you off-road, but the clearance on those cars is not the best. But yes, it will serve the purpose. Ukiongeza tu spring kidogo sana. Now, let's get to the second question. I hope I've answered the question very well, Lewis. If I've not, tafadhali uliza. Philip Richet. And by the way, before we talk about Philip Richet pale, there is something we are doing for the people of Eldoret. Watu wa Eldoret. Unajua very soon tutaanza kusema we want to start offering a service to the people of Eldoret. Yani tukiingia hapo Eldoret, tutatengeneza magari tutaanza kutengeneza kutoka Cheptiret, tuingie Annex, tuingie Langas, tuende Moiben, tuende yani watu wa Eldoret watakuwa nasikia magari zinatengenezwa wanasema sawa sawa. So karibuni wase wa Eldoret, there is something we are going to do for you sooner or later. Now, tuende kwa swali ya Philip. I'm a big fan of Volkswagen Arteon. Why are they few on our roads? Between C200 and Arteon, the same year, which offers value for money? To be honest, I would go for the Arteon. The reason why I don't like the C200 W205 is that it's very crumpled up. Ni kadogo. Second row of seats ni ndogo. That would be good for a person with a small family na mwenye habebangi watu. The Arteon looks great. The Arteon, it looks great. It has a very impressive lift back design or sports back design. The prima facie, it just looks great. Now, the other thing about the Arteon that I like is the choice of engines. You can get it with a 1.5 liter or a 2 liter, and performance wise, it does perform better. And you know, Volkswagen have a way of balancing between fuel consumption and performance. Yeah, so the Benz is good, but I feel the Arteon offers value for money, especially because they are going for around the same price, between 4.5 to 5 million thereabout. So you'll be and yeah, the Arteon is very impressive, and you know it stands out. So if you were to put the two of them, and I would the choice I would take, or the vehicle I would take, would definitely be the Arteon. So Steve G anasema my Honda Fit nikiwa kwa highway nitoe miguu kwa accelerator inaanza kubreak haraka sana. At times ikiwa kwa jam revs hushuka to 500 then inaanza kutetemeka. Is your Honda Fit hybrid? Yeah, tafadhali tujibu hapo if the Honda Fit is hybrid. Now, Nderito Washuka, talk about Toyota Vanguard. Toyota Vanguard. Nderito Washuka anasema niongee why was, I know it was discontinued but it was a Vanguard ni gari mzuri, lakini sasa shida tu ni ukinunua utakaa principal. Sawa sawa. Then you have James Maina. Hello Kabi, tuned in from Muranga. Muranga ni home Jemo. On Toyota Ranks, first time car owner. Toyota Ranks ni gari fiti sana for a first time car owner. Twende wapi. Kuna Just Dave anasema ako locked in from Ngong. Watu wa Ngong siku hizi nasikia wanaitanga Ngong Hong Kong. Anyway, mtaa hiyo. Okay. Sellers Nato is asking, how can I import a car year 2002? Unfortunately, you cannot import that into the country. Now, Dennis from Kasa. Samuel anasema ati sauti iko down. Kweli sauti iko down, brother? Ebu angalia device yako. Now, David Dhuo, VW Polo or Toyota Starlet? Which generation, David? Which generation? Tuambie ni generation gani? Because that's a very interesting choice. Now, Noel Msimbo, I need to get a fuel saver for daily commuting, then an SUV for weekend outings. Can you help me choose between Fit, Aqua, Demio Diesel, and Vitz? On the bigger cars, I'm thinking along Outback. Okay, sawa. So on this, if you're looking for a car that Demio Diesel inakuanga poa kwa masafari, it's also very thrilling to drive. Now all these other ones have what is called hybrid witchcraft. Now what are the difference between the Fit and the Aqua? The major difference is the battery, because the Aqua is a nickel hydride, the Fit is a lithium ion. So the fuel economy is almost the same thing, the same, yeah, same range more or less. Yeah. So Collins Tongocha anasema he's watching from Syokimau. Samuel Andati, Forester XT versus X-Brake, which one will you go for? Now the XT, okay, kama unaongea kuhusu X-Brake, I think you are talking about the SK series. Definitely I would go for the SK9 X-Brake manze, that orange trim. Tulikuwa na leo tumeenda na Tom wa Grande Motor Imports mahali kutafutia client an X-Brake and it looks nice. That orange stitching is just it's breathtaking. Now the other thing about the X-Brake is the reliability aspect, because that 2.5 liter FB25 is quite reliable and it's a bit balanced when it comes to fuel as well. Now Erico is saying, Niaji Eric, what course related to vehicles would you advise somebody who is physically challenged to take? There are actually quite a number of courses. You can do most courses, including automotive engineering. You can do mechanics. You can do wiring. You can become a motor vehicle electrician, especially now that wiring has become very complicated. Na wacha niwakumbushe, we are filming from Grande Motor Imports, na Grande Motor Imports is our official direct importation partner. So kama unataka tukuimportie gari, you can call us Auto Konnekt or you can call Grande Motor Imports. Pale Grande kuna jamaa anaitwa Tom, na Tom is a nice guy, and najua wale wasi Auto Konnekt umedeal na Tom, umeona he's a good chap. Sawa. Samuel Andati, Forester XT, hiyo nimejibu. Andrew Sergio, hello Eric, people are not aware of how old school cars have regained their value. Yes, that is very true, Andrew. Actually, most people don't know about even getting cars that can serve you well with very good fuel economy by simply getting a car that is older. If you get a clean older car, you see, like right now, the Toyota Corolla 90s and 100s ziko na demand ingine crazy. Guys are building those cars. Hata bei zimepanda sana. The other gari zingine bei zimepanda sana apart from the 100s. Look at cars like the Subaru, Legacy. No, not Subaru Legacy. Hii gari ingine inaitwa nini? There is the Toyota 100s, the 90s. The G Tourings, by the way, has inunuliki pia, because guys are slowly switching back to these older vehicles, because times are hard, now it's good that people are becoming more innovative day and day, that you can take a grounded car, restore it, and make it work for you. But I have to give a disclaimer: restoration is not for the faint hearted. Tuko pamoja? All right. Now, kuna jamaa anasema ati anataka tuanze kusema free wakabi. Bana, mimi nimesema tu venye tutakuwa tunatengeneza magari Eldoret. Na nimesema tutakuwa tunatengeneza magari kutoka wapi? Kutoka Cheptiret, tunaenda Annex, tunaenda Langas, tunaenda Jericho, tunaenda Chep, tunaenda Moiben, tunaenda Iten, tunarudi, tunaanza Soi, tunaingia maili 9. Tunaenda wapi? Tunaenda pale Kampala Road, tunaingia hivyo Sosiani, unaona? So yes, we are coming to serve the people of Eldoret soon, but I'll talk about that next week once I'll be able to give you more information. So yes, anzeni ku pass the gospel to Eldoret. Now, Chesire anasema watching from Baringo. Can I go for Toyota Allion 2010 or Toyota Premio, both 1500cc? Yes, actually they are the same thing. Allion na Premio is the same thing. The tofauti is hiyo kitu hiyo ya body, yeah, the packaging. So then to go deeper, so when you go to the history of the Allion and the Premio, now the Premio was built for the mature crowd. Now the Allion was built for the youthful market, and it was solely sold by a Toyota dealership in Japan that is called the Nets. Inaitwa Nets Corporation. Yeah, so that one is the one that sells the Allion. But in terms of gearbox, engine, Allion na Premium is the same. Hata chassis code is the same, depending on the engine it's coming with. But now the other thing that I have to mention about these cars is if you're buying an Allion, Baringo najua kuna ni flat, alafu ukienda kuingia ile area ya Kabarnet, unaanza kupanda milima. So now that is where the game changes. If you can be able to get the 1800cc, the better, because the fuel economy between the 1.8 and the 1.5 is with the 1.5 with the 1NZ, I feel it's a bit lazy, especially on the Allion and the Premio. It's good on the Pro Box, but the Allion and the Premio are heavier, so it feels a bit sluggish. So if you want to feel to have a better drive, sacrifice mafuta kidogo, go for the 1.8. I trust me, you will not regret getting the 1.8. Okay. Now let's go. Charles Kingori is asking, I am looking into buying an Audi Q3. What are the pros and cons, and what should I be watchful for? Now the Audi Q3 is it's one of those, can I call them black sheep in the Audi family? It's a subcompact crossover SUV. It is powered by a 1.4 liter engine, 1.4 or 2 liter, where you can get those variants. It's the good thing is, if you're buying a vehicle in the VAG family, Volkswagen, Audi, there is a lot of technical support that you will get in the country, because so many mechanics are familiar with VW Audi group. So hiyo ni kitu, that's one thing that we cannot deny. In fact, Volkswagen and Audi are becoming the Toyotas of European cars. So what we should be watchful about, number one is mileage. Number two is make sure it does not have any leakages. Sawa. And number three, make sure it's a good quality vehicle. Sana suspension wise. The other thing that you might want to look out for is do some due diligence, especially unajua, now the problem is Wakenya tumezoea kuuziwa gari mbaya hadi imekuwa normal, but you get to appreciate a good car. You see, if you import say a grade 4.5 car, alafu uende kibakuli kingine kwa most of the showrooms, actually there are showrooms that have nice cars, but you will find that people are saying these showrooms are expensive. Actually, look at the showrooms that that price their cars a little bit higher. Their cars most of the times they have very good grades. But tumezoea kuuziwa vibakuli hadi ukiuziwa gari mzuri unaanza kusema gari yangu si kama ya fulani. But if you get a very good quality grade 4.5 Q3, it will serve you very diligently. In fact, there is a client we imported a Passat for, and this is like the second year. Sindio Ken? Sindio Tom? Second year. And the Passat is haijabai badilishwa kitu. Like the only thing that has been changed on that Passat is probably the brake pads. So if you buy a good quality car, it will serve you for longer before you start going to the garage. Kuna gari utanunua, then the next day utakuwa garage. And you know, with European cars, sometimes they are not cheap. Sawa to maintain. Caesar Kamundi, VP Rico, can I upgrade a Passat B8 1.4 engine to a 1.8 or 2000cc? Hiyo ni kazi mingi. Fanya hivi, uza Passat, nunua Arteon. Sawa. Wacha maneno ya swap. Now, identity rides, J95 3000cc diesel versus J95 4000cc petrol. 4000cc, kama you don't mind fuel economy, it's a beast. So kama you mind fuel economy, well, go for the diesels. Samuel David Thuo, VW Polo 2024 versus Toyota Starlet 2024. Now, these Polos that you're buying as 2024, I suppose they are the ones that are sold locally. Now, that is the Polo Vivo, very reliable vehicle, that one. Only that the only problem I have with the Polo Vivo is that it's slightly basic. But now you see the Polo and the Starlet are sold by the same dealer. Now, you can also buy the Starlet as a Suzuki Baleno. Now, the only way, the benefits of the Starlet is it's quite spacious, and you see the 2024 Polo that is sold locally, I believe it does not have a turbocharger, so it's naturally aspirated, so it will not give you much of performance. So these two cars are mostly point A to point B vehicles, unless unasema we are talking about the Polo from Japan, ile ya mtumba. Now there will be some differences. Tuko pamoja, maybe you can specify, Bwana David Duo. Samuel Masharia, which car do I go for between Nissan Note Nismo e-Power and Mazda Demio 1500cc diesel? Hii swali imeulizwa, like in all the lives you have had, lazima hii swali ikuje. So actually there are two. Tom, sijui leo watu, there is a debate I was having with Tom today. Kwanza to pause, na Tiny Pesa tunacheza nayo wapi? Sasa hiyo tutacheza nayo next weekend, sawa? Ama unaweza weka kwa ile namba 0710844863 kama unataka kucheza na M-Pesa. Siku hizi nasikia Gen Z huko anaita M-Sapi. Niko sawa? Bas. So the number is 0710844863. Now, I was talking about a discussion we are having with Tom, and it goes in line with these two questions from Samuel Masharia and Adam Moshira about the Nissan Note e-Power and the Mazda Demio diesel. And the second question, Bwana Tom, the Subaru Forester SK9 versus the Tiguan. Now, wacha tuanze na hii ya e-Power na Demio. There's one thing that the e-Power has amazing torque figures. It's basically an electric car with a generator. So picking hiyo gari iko juu sana. Number one, to start with, picking yake iko sawa sana. Fuel economy, mwah. Now the Demio will give you one thing, thrill. Demio iko na torque. You know, it has that diesel grunt, and it has a 6-speed automatic transmission. So if you're a driving enthusiast, yes, you can take the Demio diesel and you're not going to regret. If on the other side you're a vegetarian, you want to reduce on your carbon footprint, then you can buy the Note e-Power, because the e-Power is fast, but if you're driving, and there's something. In fact, it's a good car for a point A to point B person. Mtu ana move from point A to point B. Kitu haitakupatia thrill, because the Demio gives you thrill. That is one thing. Kwanza unasikia hizo gears zikishift 1 2 3 4 5 6. You know, e-Power, it's like a golf cart. inaenda tu zzz, because it has a one speed gearbox. It really okay, it doesn't, we call it a one speed gearbox, but it's just some sort of transmission. Sawa sawa. So Abdul Kadir Ado, hello, I want to buy a Gen 1 or Gen 2 RAV4. Please plug pre-purchase inspection so that I can buy a clean unit to be used in the car market. Also, you give amesema Gen 4 first gen or second gen RAV4. Okay, we offer pre-purchase inspection services, Bwana Abdul Kadir. And you can reach us through that number that is there on the screen, 0710 844 863, tukuangalilie gari. Na tunasemanga hapa Auto Konnekt, watu wasinunue gari kama mbuzi. Hata mbuzi ukinunua lazima uifungue uangalie meno, sawa sawa. So yes, but for me, I love the Gen 1 RAV4 more because it was a bit hardy. Although the Gen 1 RAV4 had one big design flaw, this is according to me. The Gen 1 RAV4 ukiangalia kwa ile miguu ya nyuma, you will find that the links zimekaribia sana. Actually they form a V shape, and you can see them if you look at the car from behind. So what this does, if you go to extreme off road, sometimes you can have gari inaweza shikwa chini. Now the Gen 2 RAV4 is a bit more refined. The RAV4 was created as the ilikuwa inaitwa recreation activity vehicle. Yeah, so it was a bit, actually it still is. There is no much difference between the Gen 1 and the Gen 2. But if you're buying the Gen 2, just avoid the one with a D4 engine. So if you're looking for a rugged thing, Gen 1 will do. If you're looking for a refined yet rugged, go for Gen 2 and avoid the D4 engines. Tuko pamoja? Sawa. Slant TV, Subaru Forester with a flat behind. Hiyo ni gani? Oh, anasema SG5. SG5 ninakuwa na, but that is a very not so good way of defining a car. Ungesema tu with a flat tailgate. So I believe he's talking about that one. So anonymous team anauliza okay, sawa. Yo okay, Josh Homan, even here in America, older cars are becoming popular because newer cars are so expensive. You have to see up, it's not only in Kenya, even. By the way, thank you so much, Josh, for watching us from the United States of America. Yeah, we are happy to be talking to you. Hata mkiwa Mayolo. Sawa sawa. So yes, even the demand for older vehicles, the US has a provision for importation of classic cars. And trust me, those cars are not cheap. So yes, older cars, the demand for older cars is growing because also, one, newer cars are more expensive. Newer cars are not necessarily as reliable as the older cars, and I'm not afraid to say this because newer cars are mostly made with planned obsolescence in mind. You see, you cannot compare the golden era of automobile manufacturing. The day we had the times we had the Mercedes-Benz W202, the W124, when we had the Toyota 90, the Toyota 100, the Nissan Bluebird Atisa, the U12. You also had the Nissan Silvias, the Nissan Cedrics, cars like the Toyota Chaser, Toyota Cressida. Yani magari zilikuwa tu fiti. Honda, the Honda Civics, the Honda NSXs, beautiful cars that would really live over a very long time. But unajua manufacturers pia lazima watengeneze pesa. So that is why we have planned obsolescence with newer cars. Now, Collins Tongoch, watching from Syokimau, Toyota Axio Hybrid iko aje? Sio mbaya, gari ni Toyota. The only thing is that their hybrid battery kidogo inaletanga mushkili at a certain mileage. But the good thing, the beautiful thing, in fact, let me give you the advantages and disadvantages of these Axio and Fielder hybrids. They run on nickel hydride batteries, and I'll say this again and again. And while I'm at that, if you want to buy a Toyota Axio or Toyota Fielder hybrid, you can get it from Grande Motor Imports, and he's going to give you a warranty of 16 months. That's like 1 year, 4 months. so that we cannot have these discussions we're having here with Collins Togoch. So the only disadvantage with these Toyotas, especially if you buy them without doing a pre-purchase inspection, their batteries can be fixed. That's the most beautiful thing. Toyota wanatengenezanga vitu zao vizuri. Their batteries can be fixed, but they lack an internal self-balancing mechanism. They also, what else? They don't drain as deeply as their counterparts, their lithium-ion counterparts from Honda, because they cannot go below 39%. If they go below that, then they just go dead. But the beautiful thing is that these hybrid batteries can be fixed. And the other thing, if you're buying a Fielder or Axio hybrid, make sure you service the hybrid unit. Ondoa vumbi huko ndani. Sawa sawa. Anaongea kuhusu watu wa Kitengela, watu wa Ngong, watu wa Syokimau. Oh, Collins Tongocha anauliza juu ni wa Syokimau. So vumbi huko, dust is constant. I guess. Anyway, just there for business. Okay. Oh, Collins Tongocha anasema Moibeni tractors tu Eric. Ni nini bwana? Nini Collins? Siwache ungeacha flow iende. Okay, let's see. Paul Masharia. Let's start deal with Mike Mike. Importing a second-hand engines and gearboxes italeta shida na kebs na KRA. No, but we import second-hand engines and gearboxes from Dubai. Hazikuangi mpya na bado zinapita kebs. As long as you have the right paperwork. Iko sawa. Now, who else? Paul Masharia, is Honda Fit hybrid reliable? Yes, but uangalie hiyo gari vizuri sana before ununue. Joel Chalo, I'm looking to get a Toyota Rush, budget below 1 million. Please advise. Hiyo unless upate kale Rush, the tall slender Rush. That I believe you can get with 1 million, but I'll give a disclaimer. Please look at kagua sana hiyo gari. Number 1, the gearbox, and number 2, the engine. Make sure hiyo gari haijawahi chemka, na make sure the gearbox haigongi, because they are good cars, but these are actually Daihatsus. Hizi Rush hizo zinakwambia they are not 100% Toyota. They are Daihatsu Terios, they are called Daihatsu Terios. There is also the other name, Daihatsu something. Yeah, they're actually Daihatsus. So sana sana kagua engine na ukague gearbox. Then make sure the test drive for these Daihatsu, sorry for calling them that, for this Toyota Rush, make sure you test drive it for about 20 kilometers before you can commit to buying that vehicle. Haya, tuende kwa nani? Richard Kamau. I use an Outback BP9 for my daily drive, and the only challenge with that car is fuel economy. I'm considering downgrading to a VW Golf Mark 5 GTI 1400cc model 2007-2008. Richard Kamau, hakuna GTI ya 1400cc. GTI zinakuanga 2 liter. 1500cc kwa Mark 5. Mark 5, Mark 6, Mark 7. Okay. First of all, Mark 5 GTI is not 1400cc. At least hapo tumepatana. And I don't think that's a downgrade. But have you considered, yes, VWs have a way of giving you performance and fuel economy at the same time. But when it comes to reliability, unajua hizo Mark 5, they were nice cars, but zimechokorwa sana. So you also have to keenly look at or inspect them before you think about buying it, because yes, the cost of maintenance between a Mark 5 and a BP9 is more or less the same. But I always, if you have managed to keep a BP9 on the road, then you will not hutashindwa kuweka Mark 5 on the road. But there is one thing you must do. Lazima utatafuta mechanic sasa afresh, because the mech doing your BP9 might not be in a position to deal with your Mark 5. Wycliffe Mwinali anasema, hello Eric Wakabi, what can you say about this new XV? Hiyo gari inakaa mzuri. That is all I can say. It's a nice car. XVs are actually very reliable, and it's nice. It's quite a looker. It's quite a looker. Now, nani mwingine? Would you buy a second-hand Porsche Cayenne? Inalingana iko na engine gani? Cleophas Yego. Cleophas Yego is niaje Eric, my Toyota RAV4 2AZ engine has been consuming a lot of oil recently. Solution to the problem: This is a very normal problem with the 2AZ. 2AZ yote iko kwa Vanguard, RAV4, Harrier, gani ingine iko na 2AZ? Pia Avensis, I think. Avensis was 1AZ or two. Yes. So all these vehicles burn oil at 150,000 kilometers. Now the solution ni kidogo the very easy. You can choose to do an engine rebuild, or you can choose to get a slim engine. So with a 2AZ, excessive oil consumption is inevitable at some point. And these are some of the things that nobody is going to tell you. But anyway, the car, the RAV4 is very reliable. So do this. Take the vehicle to a good mechanic who can replace the further two overhaul. Replace the piston rings, then the cone bearings, the main bearings, the gaskets. A normal overhaul. Then it will serve you for like another 150,000 kilometers if it is built well, because I believe the engine overhaul will be cheaper than buying a slim engine. But if you have the budget, the problem with getting a slim engine is you don't know the vehicle it came from, ilikuwa imekaribia sana wapi kukunywa oil. But oil consumption on 2AZ is actually a very common occurrence, and it's one of the known defects of the 2AZ engine. Vincent B, which crown athlete from 2014 2017 fully loaded with leather sunroof and not hybrid? Sasa si ushasema athlete, si ndio? So sijaelewa hiyo swali. Jemo, can you give us how we can maintain vehicles with turbo? Jemo J, vehicles with turbos hazitakangi mambo mingi. They require some very easy maintenance. One, oil. Use the correct oil. Number two, something very simple. Use a good quality oil cleaner, and you will live with a turbo, not oil cleaner. Yes, actually, it's good oil filter, and a good air cleaner. Na utaishi na turbo vizuri sana. Are we together? Sawa. There is somebody anasema anaitwa nani? David Kamondo. Hello Kabi. Why is Suzuki Jimny 60cc and 1500cc pricey? Jimnys have been expensive since time in memorial. Jimny is those cars that are the underdogs, but you have to pay a premium price for them. They are very reliable. They are typical mountain goats. Jitapanda milima, they'll go to very rugged places. So yeah, they are quite pricey. Sometimes naonanga kama price ya Jimny doesn't make sense, especially these brand new ones. Hey, unapata zinauzwa bei hadi unashtuka. Some of them are even the price is approaching that of a RAV4. So sometimes even if you are buying reliability and that off-road capability, pia ni vizuri unaangalia what are you buying. You see, land is good, but you cannot buy a 50 by 100 shamba in this place. What is it called? Nimesahau. Wacha nisitumie hiyo analogy. Benson Nyaga, bring back the Redriven series. That one will come back. Hello Eric, this is Atis Mwads. I'm being offered a deal, Nissan Wing Road 11. QG 118. 5-speed manual, that's a good car. Chukua hiyo gari. Bei ni gani? Okay, DP Motua saw a picture of a Q5 doing 25 kilometers per liter. Is this realistic? No, it's not. And let me explain why it's not realistic. If you have driven the previous generation of the Mazda Axela, wacha hii tuko nayo hapa sahi. Ukienda uachilie accelerator and you look at that trip meter over there, inaendanga hadi inafika hadi 35 hadi 36. So the same thing, when you're costing, these things will give you fuel economy that is not realistic. So unarudi tu hapo kwa cluster, unafinya hadi inakuja average. Sawa? Because you see that Q5 ukiachilia iteremke kwa mteremko, then ukanyage mafuta, unaona imerudi, inatoka 25 inarudi hadi 15, ama hata inaenda as low as, if you throttle it hard, it will go as low as even 10. So yeah, it's not realistic. Okay. Josh Homan, welcome sir. Asante sana. I can see today we have quite a good number of people watching. Asanteni sana. Samuel Andati, Dominic Sawasawa, Dan Kun, why Wakabi have an Axela BL series 2 liter. I've noticed the car is sluggish, consumes a lot of fuel, and sometimes on high speed misfires. I've changed the plugs plus normal service. Hizo plugs angalia kama zilikuwa genuine, especially kama iko na misfire. There I think you have to look at your oxygen sensors. There's a perform a diagnosis, itakwambia what is wrong with the car. Dennis Katali, advice on Subaru Impreza GG2 versus GH2 for first time. You know why I always laugh about this? Sorry, by the way, sorry, sikuchekelei Dennis, but these cars, ushaiona gari inakunywa na haiendi mbio. That is the GG2 and the GH2 for you, especially if they come with the EJ15 engine or the EJ15 ama EL15. Those engines are not very nice because they are not fast and their fuel consumption is crazy. Ukitaka kujua uliza huyu jamaa anaitwa Identity Cars. In fact, I would not buy a Subaru that has 1500 cc's of displacement, especially those GH2s and those GG2s. They will not give you value for money. I wish Subarus are nice. They are stable. The build quality is amazing. But hapo kwa fuel consumption ndipo kuna shida kidogo, na pia the thrill of driving. So if you buy a 2 liter one, it's fine. But below that, I don't think it will be very interesting to drive. Now, okay, okay. Andati, look at that sub. If only we imported that age. Okay. Sawa, sijaelewa pia hiyo. Lewis Githinji, your explanation on the ISIS was satisfying. Thanks. Kindly recommend a low budget family car that can serve me well. Lewis, do this, Lewis. Kwa hiyo number iko hapo 0710844863. Just drop a text message, then I'll give you a call tomorrow morning and we're going to have that discussion deeply, sababu hapa tuko na constraint of time. Sawa sawa. Just Dave anasema okay. Prince Albert, Eric Kukabe, hope you're good. Have a Toyota Allion 1800cc but inakunywa mafuta sana. Jana nilijaza full tank ikaenda for 20 kilometers ikawasha taa. What could be the problem? For 20, you know, is kidogo for that vehicle, because for 20 kilometers hiyo ni kidogo sana. There must be something seriously wrong with that vehicle. Because it's supposed to give you at least 500 plus. Ikumaanisha hiyo gari ungetoka nayo Nairobi ingezimia pale meli kubwa ukienda Mombasa. And you see that vehicle on a full tank, if try to think so that you can see how bad the fuel economy is. If at all say the cars I've driven from Mombasa, unaendesha Subaru Forester na inakuja na haimalizi tank mzima. But also it depends on how big. But I've driven an Axio from Mombasa, and the first mahali tuliongeza mafuta ilikuwa Nakuru. So yes, that Allion must have a problem. Start with the spark plugs, oxygen sensor, routine service, and also look at the throttle. Kitu ingine unafaa kuangalia na watu hawasemangi sana ni kitu inaitwa gearbox, because also your gearbox can make your car have bad fuel economy, especially if there is slippage. Tuende kwa Just Dave. Umeruka swali yangu mara mbili bwana. Just Dave, umeuliza swali gani? Nimeiona. Sawa, naona Motuku ndio ameingia class, amechelewa. Karibu sana Motuku. Next time hutachelewa. Just Dave, for business, no hybrid ama non-hybrid. Kuna so many stories behind the hybrids in terms of reliability and being expensive to maintain. Na pia they don't last long. What's the best option for business? Just Dave, nikwambie ukweli, chukua non-hybrid. Mimi nikwambia tu ukweli, Q boys, Q brother. Chukua tu non-hybrid. Let's Hi Eric, is a Peugeot 308 a reliable car? Yes, but you have to take good care of it. Angalia mambo ya timing, angalia mambo ya oil, hiyo iko sawa, alafu itakuwa sawa. But you need to service it religiously. Sawa sawa. Hii si gari ya shortcut. I tell writers, bwana CK, kuna relations ya timing bell kukatika kwa gari ikiwa in motion alafu inaharibu gearbox? Hapana. There is no correlation between that. Kuharibu gearbox for an automatic na kukata timing belt, no, there is no relationship. FX Trade Empire, which car would you recommend for first time car buyer? For what budget? Budget gani ni gani? Budget yako ni gani FX? Forgive me, I'm struggling with a cold kidogo hapa na pale. Now, who else do we have? Ken Mwaki. Hi Eric, what do you think about the Pajero IO? Woo! Wachana nayo. Wachana nayo. Kama wewe si mechanic, wachana na hiyo gari. Those GDI engines from Mitsubishi, the first GDI engines were not very good. Okay. Eugene Bisaule, for Mazda plugs, get long range, high temperature plugs. Eric, last week you convinced me to get a Toyota hybrid instead of Honda. Which Toyota should I get between the Fielder and the Sienta? Now, the Fielder and the Sienta, that decision will mostly be determined by, do you need a 7-seater? Do you need the space of a Sienta, or do you need the practicality of a Fielder? Now the Fielder has a bigger boot, the Sienta has more seats. So unataka gani kati hiyo? Lakini mimi ningeulizwa tu, unaona Fielder looks nice. I have some loving for the Fielder. Na hata ukifika bei, nunua WXB. Now, Emmanuel Masibili, I'm thinking of getting the Subaru Levogue 1.6. Does it have any red flags? And B, I'm not a speed freak. If you're not a speed freak, instead of getting the Levogue with 1.6, you'd rather get the XV. Those FB16 turbocharged engines, not unless you're getting FA16 turbocharged engines, they are not very nice. They are very sensitive on oil. That is one thing. So if you're not a speed freak and you want something more reliable, I feel the XV would serve you better. Now, offer ya Wing Road ilikuwa 200,000. Antis bana, nunua hiyo gari. Nunua hiyo gari mbio sana. Murimi Ken, I love the second gen RAV4, but I fear it. What would you advise me as a first time car owner? Why do you fear the second gen RAV4? As long as it does not come with those D4 engines, iko sawa. Unaona we have how many minutes do we have? Manzena ndio wasee wanaingia bana. Andy, ndio watu wamefika. Wageni ndio wamesema, ndio wamefika, ndio wameingia. Tuongeze dakika ngapi? I'm consulting the other people in the room so that tuwapatie dakika ngapi? Tuwapatie 15 minutes, eh? Masikia amepewa 15 minutes additional time. Sawa. Elijah Matiko. CK, I work in Kakamega, but my family is in Kitui. I want to be doing weekend trips. I have some off-road section. Can I bank my money on a Mazda Axela? Budget is 2 million. Yes, you can. But hapo kwa off-road utabidi, unajua off-road inaweza kuwa ni maram, inaweza kuwa ni njia kama za kwenda Elikelis. Ama kanjia fulani kanatokanga Ruiru. Hapa Kimbo. Kupanda. No, I'm not mentioning anybody. I'm just saying off-road inaweza kuwa mara mama ikue kanjia fulani kutoka Kimbo hadi kupanda hadi kunaitwa Murera. So it depends on the level of how off-road is. So yes, a Mazda Axela will serve you brilliantly. It's a very reliable car, but hapo off-road section ndio sijui tunaongea kuhusu off-road section inakaa namna gani. Africa Voice, Eric, kuswap Nissan Note 2014 from auto to manual trans is advisable. Too much work. It's possible, but it's too much work. Plus also sourcing a manual gearbox for a Nissan Note. Yeah. Na hizo ma clutch cylinders, and it's not easy. Now let's see who else. Maswali. Hey bwana. Maswali, Depimo 2 are the best place to source a 5L engine for a highest build. Hizo nunua Kirinyaga Road ama Inda. Ama unaweza pigia Maura wa Prince Drive, anaweza kupatia 5L safi sana. But it's expensive because 5L engines right now are going for excess of 400,000 Kenya shillings. So also put that into consideration. Which year of the Nissan Tiana is best? Niyo kuna video tulifanya ya Nissan Tiana. Na hiyo video ukienda hapo kwa channel utaiona. Imeandikwa affordable reliable cars for below 500,000. kuna Tiana moja nilitaja hapo, go take a look. Sawa. Who else? FX Trade Empire, below 1M for daily use and long distance once in a while. Hey, sedan, crossover, ama tupatie get FX kuwa get a little bit deeper. Now we have budget. Now we need to know what body design you want. Do you want reliability? Are you looking for performance? Because 1 million, there is a very wide range of vehicles for that price tag. Willy Cavu, Eric, talk about the Toyota Sienna. Can one import it? We have not seen it locally. Now, the Siennas are mostly for the North American market and some other few markets. I don't think they were ever made. We import cars mostly from Japan, Thailand, South Africa, UK, of which Sienna si mingi. Why would you want to import a Sienna? Let me know. Tuambie tu hapo kwa comments kwa nini unataka kununua Toyota Sienna. Sitaki kuita mtu kienyo, but kwa wale hawaelewi, kuna Toyota Sienta. Kuna tofauti kubwa ya Toyota Sienta na Toyota Sienna. Sawa sawa? So watu wa Karatina, relax. Sawa? Mwalasha, how come new engines consume less fuel? E.g. a 1500cc car in this era consumes less than a 1500cc in the 90s. Kwani the car manufacturers what are they doing differently? Now, Mwalasha, there are some technologies that have come up. Variable valve timing, cylinder on demand, direct injection. Which other technology has come in? Start and stop technology. We have seen hybrid witchcraft that has been brought into play. So many things. And even the ECU tunes are much more precise compared to those days when we had like even the computers za siku hizi na siku hizi hazifanani. The other thing is gearboxes. So there are so many things that come into play when it comes to that. Kevin Moshiri, Honda Wave 2010, good car? Yes, it's a good car. Eugene Bisaule, Mira Transport, which modern vehicle would you recommend other than the CVT Probox? Kwa hiyo kazi ya Mira, sasa ndakuambia nini? I think the Probox is unrivaled in a way, because not many vehicles will stand as much abuse as the Toyota Probox. Mwalasha anasema kuna mahali tuliona tukiambiwa Tida first gen was with the first CVT is a reliable car and the gearbox is reliable. Ni ukweli ama ni jaba? Hiyo gearbox ya that Tida ilikuwa inaitwa that gearbox was called the RE0 CVT transmission by Jatco. It had a few problems. One of those problems was under load. Actually, ndio ilileta the first CVT problems to Nissan. It's called that CVT is called the RE0 something, manamba mingi. And it had three major problems. One was slippage. When it was slippage when under load or in very hot temperatures. The second problem, especially with those Tidas, zilikuwa zinaharibu kitu ilikuwa inaitwa speed sensor. Zilikuwa zinaharibu sana. The third thing was the degradation. Now, if number one, kama hiyo inge experience slippage, then CVTF degradation or the fluid was faster. Na pia zilikuwa zinasuffer if you put them under load. Zilikuwa zina overheat gearbox. They were not bad. In fact, the only thing about those gearboxes is they are cheap. So there is a small difference between being reliable and being cheap. It's one of the few gearboxes that you can buy with 45,000 Kenya shillings. But in terms of reliability, well, it's slightly questionable. Si mbaya sana, but at least that transmission came with a stepper motor. So it was a bit more mechanical. It did not require as much pressures as the ones we are seeing on the Xtronic CVTs, but there was a lot of experimentation that was happening there. So yes, those gearboxes are cheap, but cheap does not necessarily mean that they are the most reliable. You can work with them. Kuna watu wameishi na hizo magari sana. But if you look at somebody who has lived, we have a client at Konnekt who has changed two gearboxes on the TIDA. We have another one who has never touched the gearbox. But if you look at the driving styles between those two people, the one who has never touched a gearbox on their TIDA, and I think theirs is a KCW, is no, not a KCW. Yeah, it's around there. Is that their driving habits. Moja ni mtu wa town, huyo mwingine ni mtu wa long distance. So that is where the differences come into play. So when you say those gearboxes were reliable, you need to really do some more research, know what were the common problems, did those problems have solution. And yes, the problems on that gearbox, they had a solution, and part of the solution was using an aftermarket transmission oil cooler. Sasa hiyo speed sensor nayo ni rahisi, ikiharibika unaweka ingine, but sasa ikiharibika hiyo gari, it doesn't shift gears, so it revs very high, and that can even result to your car overheating. Tuko pamoja? Haya, tuendelee na hii story. Naona watu wameenda kuwatch news. We have 7 minutes. Kipngetich Rono, GG9 EJ20 in urban drive. Na Kipngetich Rono EJ20 hakuna hiyo, inakunywanga vibaya, hiyo inakunywanga hivyo. Jeffrey Karanja 600 which car, point A to point B. Angalia zile Corolla NZD za kwanza. You can also look at a car like zilikuwa zinaitwa aje hizi gari? Kuna zile the first generation of Fielders, the Corolla NZDs. You can also look at the Nissan Tida, by the way. If kama ni point A to point B, you can consider a Tida. Yes. Hello Eric Joy Maina, would you advise me to get a Mark X or a Nissan Skyline? Now the difference is, ni Skyline gani unasema? Ni ile iko na engine ya Mercedes, ile inaitwa 200 GTT, the one that comes with the M274, or the one that comes with a 2.5 liter. If it, because that will determine quite a number of things. Tuendelee kwa Benson Nyaga. Just Dave, Noah, Voxy ama Esquire, zote ni gari moja. Sawa sawa. During my last service, I noted a small ATF leak conjunction ya gearbox na engine. Toyota 111. The car is doing me well. My mech advised me to shukisha gearbox. We replace a seal on something. Yes, hiyo ni seal inaitwa torque converter seal. Badilisha hiyo. Your advice on 2006 NZD with a 5-speed manual. Gari mzuri. Identity anasema we need a drive. Yes, we will organize that one. Mwalasha anasema weka namba tuweke ya cabbage. Namba iko pale kwa screen. Alafu Itel Writers anauliza hakuna build ingine umefanya tuende testing Ololokwe. Tutapeleka trupa Ololokwe. Aranga anasema very informative show, asante sana. Ken Mwaki, the last question of the day. What do you think about the Subaru Forester SH5 XT for touring? Kama iko na engine inaitwa EJ20, it's mwa. Hiyo iko Steve Simple Boy anasema iko fresh barida. Sawa sawa. So guys, it's 9:11, time to give a parting shot. It has been a really nice live show. I have enjoyed the live show. Forgive me, niko na homa kidogo. Sawa sawa, but I'm happy that kila mtu amepata a dose of you have had your questions answered. Loud and clear. Niko na old school Tiana iko fiti 12 km per liter. Si niliwaambia? I told you guys, didn't I? Nikiwaambia hizi vitu mnajua. Kwa hiyo video mtaona hiyo Tiana haikuwa mbaya. David Thuo NP300 hard body, what are your thoughts? Kama iko na engine inaitwa TD27 QD32, hiyo gari iko sawa kabisa. Mwalasha anasema umetoa gari namba kwa screen. Umetoa namba kwa screen bwana. Unajua Francis Munyi anasema pardon me for the above. Thank you so much Just Dave. Asante sana. Francis Munyi, pardon me for the above question. It's an extra. Sijaelewa hiyo swali, but Francis Munyi, by the way, unaweza ni text tu kwa hiyo namba iko hapo kwa screen 0710844863, and you can just text me. I'll give you a free consultation tomorrow. Tutapatia consultation because we offer services such as pre-purchase inspection consultation na sourcing pia. We can source cars on your behalf. Now, by the way, if you want to book a pre-purchase inspection in Mombasa, we are going to be in Mombasa this coming Friday. Tuko pamoja? So wase wa Mombasa, wase wa Coast, Friday or whole day tuko Mombasa. Book your pre-purchase inspection, book your consultation. Na pia kama unataka kususiwa gari Mombasa, Friday tuko ground. Friday kutoka asubuhi hadi jioni tutakuwa ground pale Moi Avenue Mombasa. Sawa sawa. Diana Nzula, wacha nijibu tu swali ya Diana before niende. Nissan Note with stolen mufflers imewasha taa. Quick remedy. Oh, so Diana, that's not the muffler they steal. What they steal is what is called the catalytic converter. The best remedy is actually to replace a catalytic converter. Na ujue ukiweka zile za China haitazima taa. So you can go to a shop that sells the exhaust system. Ya hapo catalytic converter imefika, and the vehicle will continue to serve you very well. Sawa sawa. Mwalasha amesema ameweka cabbage. Joy Maina, kindly do a review of the Nissan Skyline. Kuna review ya Skyline. Ukiingia kwa Auto Konnekt, kuna review ya Mark X versus Nissan Skyline. Enda hapo. Kwanza it was a very good review. Iko hapo Joy. Sawa sawa. James Munyi anauliza, kwanza anaongea na lugha ingine. Aya, sawa. So guys, I hope this has been an insightful Francis Munye anauliza T32 if I can install an aftermarket cooler. No, Francis, T32 the T32 does not require an aftermarket cooler. Sawa sawa. Advise me on for Honda Fit and Honda Shuttle for an unhybrid. The Shuttle gives you more space. The Fit is slightly smaller. The price difference, well, it's not that significant. So kama unataka space, nunua Shuttle. Tuko pamoja? Sawa sawa. So Dennis Katali, wacha tufunge na Dennis Katali. Sawa sawa. So thank you so much guys for joining us. Tupatane pale. Wale wase nimeambia free consultation number ilikuwa hapo kwa screen. Na pia if you are looking to import a car, our official importation partner is Grande Motor Imports. Sawa sawa. Thank you guys for joining us. Till next Wednesday. By the way, tell us, mnataka Q&A ingine? Au mnataka tulete guest? Tuambieni. Thank you so much guys. Over and out.